Good day, everybody. I hope that you're well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on titles. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts. Grade 3. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of titles. Guys, I just want to apologize for the delay. It's not going to happen again. So I just had some issues, but it is sorted now. So thank you very much for your patience. All right. So this is a continuation of our lesson on titles. And in our previous lesson, we did titles and we specifically said which book title goes with what specific picture. We had to do that. And then we also found out how to capitalize and how to write titles. All right. So when it comes to titles, right? So when it comes to titles, remember we said that with titles, we need to, the first word of the title needs to be capitalized, the last word needs to be capitalized, and every other word needs to be capitalized. So every other word needs to be capitalized. That's important, right? So if within a title, right, these words that is not important, like for example, your prepositions, like your articles or conjunctions, those are words that we don't capitalize those words, right? So you don't capitalize those words unless that word is the start of a title. It's the first word of the title. So when it comes to formatting titles, right, we see that there's different words to, or let's say there's titles to different specific books, right? And in our previous lesson, pictures were given to us, and then we had to say which word matches the pictures. All right. So now we're going to be formatting as well as capitalizing titles. And remember, when it comes to titles, we need to keep in mind that the first word of the title needs to be capitalized. The last word of the title needs to be capitalized. And every important word in between needs to be capitalized. All right. So now we're going to be formatting as well as capitalizing titles, right? And remember, this is titles of books, it can be titles of articles, it can literally be titles of anything, right? So now, when it comes to titles of books, so when it comes to us having titles of books, movies, plays, TV shows, magazines, or newspapers. So, titles of any of these that I mentioned, which is books, movies, plays, TV shows, magazines, and newspapers, that should either be underlined or it should be in italics. So, let's say, for example, you were to write a book review or you were to write a review on a movie, right? Then this is when you write, for example, you capitalize it, or let's say, for example, you underline it, or you write it in italics, depending. If you are typing, then you can underline it, or you can just put it in italics. This is now if you were to write either a review or you had to write something about a book, a movie, a play, a TV show, magazine, or newspaper. And if we look at an example, right, it says a midsummer night's dream. A midsummer night's dream. And as you can see, this title, right, is underlined. So we said, remember, the title can either be underlined or, like over here, the title can be in italics. All right. And when we, for example, write titles, remember we said that when writing titles, right, our first word is capitalized, our last word is capitalized, and every other word that is important is capitalized, right? But words like articles are not capitalized, words like short prepositions are not capitalized, and words like coordinating conjunctions are not capitalized, right? So words like a, an, or the, that is not capitalized unless it is the first word of the title. When it comes to short prepositions, right, then words like at, by, for, in, of, on, to, and up, it is not capitalized unless it is the first word of the title. And words such as and, but, and or, those are coordinating conjunctions. We only capitalize it when it is the first word of the sentence, of the title, right? So these words, if you find it in the middle of a title, then we don't capitalize it. And when it comes to capitalizing, when it comes to formatting of titles, and then we said titles of books, titles of movies, titles of plays, TV shows, magazines, and newspapers, it should either be underlined, that is, if you're typing or writing, or it should just be in italics if you are typing it only. Then, titles of poems. If you were to write a song, titles of songs, titles of articles should be in quotation marks. It should be in quotation marks, and there we have an example. So that is titles of poems, songs, and articles. All right. So now, when it also comes to capitalization, remember once again, we capitalize the first word, we capitalize the last word, and every important word in between. And the words of and the is not important. And every other word that's an article, that's a preposition, and that's a coordinating conjunction is not important, and it shouldn't be capitalized unless it is the first word of the title. All right, so now we're going to our test. So we're going to a test where we are going to format And we are going to capitalize titles. We're going to format and capitalize titles. All right. We need to say which sentence is correct. It says Mrs. Hamilton finished reading the book of Anne of Green Gables. So look at this, the title Anne of Green Gables. Anne of Green Gables, or the second option. Look at the first option. Capital letter for Anne, capital letter for Gables, capital letter for Green, or option two. Which one is correct? Look at the titles of both of those books, and then you need to say which one is correct. So, which sentence is correct? And if we were to choose the correct option, we will choose option one because the first word "and" is capitalized. Gables, the last word, is capitalized. Green is also important and is capitalized. Of is not capitalized because that is not important in the title. Well done. Option one is correct. Well done. The next one says, I'd like to write a play like Alice in Space. So a play, Alice in Space. Look at the words Alice in Space. Is it option one or option two? Alice in Space. And if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, option two is correct. Well done. Option two is correct. All right, which sentence is correct? It's option one or option two. It says, it's great to see the movie Mr. Bug Goes to Town outdoors in July. Mr. Bug goes to town outdoors in July. So option one or option two, Mr. Bug. All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, we will choose option one. Because option two, bug, is in lower cases. The next one says, which sentence is correct? Which sentence is correct? It says, I read the article, Medicines Search for Meaning on the Computer. Or do we just say medicines search for meaning on the computer? Which one is correct? So we need to choose the correct article. Article title. All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, then we would say option one. Because remember, we said that articles, poems needs to be in quotation marks. So well done. Option one is correct. The next one says, which sentence is correct? It says, the song Black or White has an interesting message. Or is it option two? So option one or option two? Which one is correct? So option one or option two? Which one is correct? All right. And if we were to choose the correct one, and then we'll choose option one. Okay, let's do to 10. Why does it seem like is it Avneet is jamming to the song? Oh, it's black and white. I thought it's black and yellow, black and yellow. All right, let's go to the next one. Which sentence is correct? It says, I was surprised that Beth had never heard of the magazine Oceans of the Mind, or option two. Which one is correct? So option one or option two? So option one or option two? So we're going to option one. Yes, well done. Option one is correct. Wow, that's nice. I thought you were jamming to the name of the title, but lovely. All right, the next one says, this is the last one. Elizabeth reads the newspaper called the New York Times whenever she can, or the New York Times in quotation marks. Which one is correct? No quotation marks or in quotation marks? Option one or option two? All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, we will choose option one. Yes, option one. Well done. All right, so the last one that says, my neighbor read a book called Going to School in India. Option one, going to school in India, or option two, going to school in India. Oh, wow. And if we were to choose the correct option, and then we will choose option one. Well done. Well done, everybody. That is it now. Wow, congrats. You play the recorder. Well done. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson. Once again, I want to apologize for the delay that I had. Um, yes, with the technical issues that I had. I'm not sure if I was with you guys when I had the technical issues, but it's not going to happen again. The delaying, the coming late. But this is the end of our lesson on titles. Um, you should have a good day further. So till next time, goodbye.